Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder. Today, RB Global Inc. just filed an 8K, and I'm seeing a few interesting votes that matter for shareholders. Quick note, this is not financial advice, just my take on public filings for educational purposes. It looks like RB Global held their annual shareholder meeting, and while most things passed with flying colors, one shareholder proposal did not get the green light. Alright, so RB Global Inc., the company behind brands like Real Estate Leads and others, held their annual and special meeting of shareholders on the 30th of April 2026. This filing is all about the results of the votes that happened at that meeting. Think of it as the official report card on what the shareholders wanted and what the board decided on. First up, shareholders voted on how many people should be on the company's board of directors. They approved keeping it at 10 directors. The voting numbers here show a big thumbs up for this, with over 169 million votes in favour. It looks like the shareholders are comfortable with the current size of the board. Now, the big show, the election of the directors themselves. All 10 nominees got the green light to serve for another year. Looking at the individual votes, most of the directors received very strong support, with millions of for votes. For example, Jim Kessler received over 166 million for votes. And Debbie Stein also saw a similar level of support. It seems the shareholders have confidence in the current leadership team to steer the company. Next, the company asked shareholders to approve the appointment of Ernst & Young LLP as their independent registered public accounting firm for the upcoming year. This is a pretty standard vote, and it passed overwhelmingly with over 169 million votes in favour. This means shareholders are trusting Ernst & Young to keep an eye on the company's financial books. Then we have the Say on Pay vote. This is a non-binding vote where shareholders give their opinion on how the top executives are being compensated. The results here show that the majority of shareholders approved the executive compensation plan with over 158 million votes for it. However, there were nearly 8 million votes against, which indicates a notable portion of shareholders might have some concerns about executive pay. It is not a rejection, but it is a signal that the board might want to pay attention to this feedback. Another resolution was about giving the directors more power to decide the number of directors on the board within certain limits set by the company's rules. This also passed with strong support, over 168 million votes for it. This gives the board flexibility in managing the size of the leadership team as needed. Finally, there was a shareholder proposal asking the company to hold all future shareholder meetings in a hybrid format, meaning both in-person and virtual options would be available. This proposal was rejected. The numbers show a clear majority voted against it, with over 108 million votes against and only about 57 million for. This suggests that while some shareholders might prefer the convenience of virtual meetings, the majority are either comfortable with the current format or believe holding meetings in a hybrid way is not necessary for RB Global at this time. It is interesting because many companies have moved towards hybrid or virtual meetings. So this rejection might be a point of discussion for some investors. And that is pretty much it for the key takeaways from this filing. The company had its shareholder meeting, re-elected its directors, approved its auditor, and generally got a nod of approval on executive pay. Though with a minor caution, the main point of interest here for me is the rejection of the hybrid meeting proposal. In a world where remote work and virtual participation are increasingly common, it is a bit surprising to see this proposal voted down so decisively. It might hint at a company culture that values in-person interaction, or perhaps the board presented a strong case against it. When you look at companies like RB Global, which is in the specialty business services sector and has a market cap around $20 billion, these shareholder meetings are really a pulse check. The fact that most proposals passed with such wide margins shows a general alignment between management and the majority of its shareholders. However, that advisory vote on executive compensation and the failed hybrid meeting proposal are moments to watch. They're not red flags that scream danger, but they are signals that ongoing dialogue and perhaps adjustments might be needed. Overall, the votes indicate stability and shareholder confidence in the current direction of RB Global. The leadership is secure, and the financial oversight is approved. The only real point of divergence was the shareholders' preference on how they gather, with the majority opting against a mandated hybrid format. Oh, and the research tools I actually use are linked in the description. They help keep this channel going. That is my take. Stay decoded. If you found this analysis helpful, please like, subscribe, and join our Discord for more.